Hello, hi everyone. Today I am going to take class Neuromuscular Junctions. Myself, Mr. Anwar A S, lecturer, Department of Physiology, Yenepoya Medical College. So here, the specific learning objectives. At the end of the class, you must know the definition and structure of the neuromuscular junction, the transmission across the neuromuscular junction, applied physiology. So here, first the definition. What is a neuromuscular junction? The junction between the motor neurons and muscle fibers. It is known as neuromuscular junctions. And also you can see here, these are neuromuscular junctions. And also you can see an axon. These are it divided into many branches here. Okay, so this is known as now terminals. Okay, so these are the it invagining into the muscles. There is a neuromuscular junctions. Now structure the neuromuscular junction. Imagine these are axons. These are now terminal. Axon now terminal. It divided into many branches. Okay, so this is a muscle fiber. It invagining into the muscles. Okay, so you can see in this diagram. So this diagram you can see this is. You can see that this diagrams here. So for example, this is an axon now terminal. So these are muscle fibers here. Okay, so these are structures of neuromuscular junctions. Okay, so this is what this is the muscle fibers here. This is the axon now terminals here. Okay, so here now the junction between the muscle fibers and axon terminal, it is known as now a synaptic cleft. Okay, and also the motor end plate. The motor end plate. So the muscle fiber, it is attached to the axon now terminal. So that is known as what? It is a motor end plate. And also you can see here the axon now terminals, it having vesicles. The vesicle, it contains a neurotransmitter. It is nothing but acetylcholine. Around 3 lakhs vesicles are present. It is filled with acetylcholines here. And also it having the mitochondria, so it help to produce the ATP. So these are the structure of neuromuscular junctions. So and also you can see many nerve fold, it increases the surface area. So now you clearly understood the structures of neuromuscular junctions. Okay. Now mechanism of sequence of events during the neuromuscular junctions. So what will happen? First, the impulses which reach to the axon terminal. So this is the axon terminal. Okay, the impulses passing into the impulse in the form of action potential from here to the muscle fiber. As a result, contraction of the muscles takes place. So you can see here when muscles impulses in the form of action potential, when it's reached to the motor neuron terminal, okay, and when it reached to the terminal, as a result depolarization takes place, and after that the voltage gated, you can see here the voltage gated calcium channels, or it open, so that calcium enter from the extracellular to the intracellular, you can see it. Now these calcium, it will help to releasing of neurotransmitter, nothing but acetylcholine. Okay, so these it is present in the axon terminals and it releasing into the postsynaptic membrane. You can see this is what, this is a presynaptic membrane. So, you can see here this is a presynaptic membrane and this is the postsynaptic membrane. This is the postsynaptic membrane of the muscle fibers here. Now, what will happen? These acetylcholines, it come and bind to the postsynaptic synapse membranes of the muscle fiber, and it come and bind to the acetylcholine receptors. And when acetylcholine come and bind to the acetylcholine receptors here, okay, so that as a result opening of voltage gated sodium channel takes place. Okay. So, this is known as ligand gated sodium channels. So, ligand is nothing but chemicals. When chemicals with acetylcholine combine bind to the acetylcholine receptor, so that is nothing but ligand gated sodium channels. So, as a result sodium will open from sodium will enter from extracellular to the intracellular. So, this sodium it help to production of end plate potential. These end plate potential, you can see here, this is a end plate, this is a motor end plate here, this is a motor end plate here. Okay. This motor end plate, it produces a local potential, it is nothing but end plate potential. This end plate potential, it is summed up, many end plate potential it is summed up, and finally it produces what? Action potential. This action potential it is produced in the sarcolemma, and this action potential it spread through the muscle fiber through L tubules and T tubules. So, as a result it lead to contraction of the muscles. So, there is what? This is the mechanism of transmission of impulses. What will happen? The first, the neurons will enter into the nerve terminal, it lead to depolarization of nerve terminal. As a result, opening of voltage gated channels. As a result, calcium will enter from the extracellular to the intracellular. As a result, it lead to releasing of acetylcholines into the muscle fiber, that is a postsynaptic membranes. As a result, these acetylcholine come and bind to the acetylcholine receptor, lead to opening of ligand gated sodium channel, lead to production of end plate potential. These end plate potential lead to production of action potential in the muscle fiber or in the sarcolemma. So, as a result, it spread into the muscle fiber, so it lead to contraction of the muscles. This is very important. Okay. So, this is what I discussed, no? This is the flow chart about that. You can see axon terminals, synaptic cleft, postsynaptic membrane and muscle fiber, right. Now, applied physiology. Now, Mastthenia gravis. What is the Myasthenia gravis? It is nothing but the autoimmune disease of neuromuscular junction. It is produce autoantibody, that is nothing but immunoglobulin autoantibodies against the acetylcholine receptors. Okay. What will do this immunoglobulin G, the autoantibody? It will prevent the binding of acetylcholine to acetylcholine receptors, or it will destroy the acetylcholine receptors. Okay. So, it is a serious and sometimes it is a fatal disease, right. So, what are the symptoms here? It is characterized by the weakness of the muscles due to inability of transmission of impulses from the nerve terminal into the muscle fiber. Okay. As a result, it will not produce the end plate potential, it will not produce the action potential. That means, impulse it will not passing through takes place from the muscle nerve terminal to the muscle fibers. Okay. So, what are the muscles which will mostly it will affected here? So, the muscles of the necks, the muscles of the limbs here, the muscles of the eyeballs, the muscles is responsible for the eyelid movements. You can see in these diagrams. So, you can see the eyelids, okay, and also the muscles of chewing, the muscles of swallowing of, and muscles of speech, muscles of the respiration, it will affect here. Okay. Now, what is the treatment for myasthenia gravis? In this diagram, you can see acetylcholine esterase. You can see here, this is acetylcholine esterase. What is the normal function of acetylcholines? One acetylcholine from the axon terminal, when combined bind to the acetylcholine receptors, okay, and it lead to opening of ligand gated sodium channels and lead to production of end plate potential. These end plate potential lead to production of action potential. Okay. Immediately what will do, these acetylcholine, the enzymes present in the postsynaptic membrane, acetylcholine esterase, it immediately it will destroy the acetylcholines. So, as a result, it lead to normaling functioning of neuromuscular junction. Otherwise, what will happen here? Continuously, transmission occurs from the presynaptic membrane to the postsynaptic membrane. Continuously contraction, no relaxation takes place. So, because of the presence of acetylcholine esterase, it lead to relaxations also. So, what is the treatment here? So, usually the auto-antibody IgG. So, what you will do here? It will either it will destroy the acetylcholine receptors, or it will block the acetylcholine receptors. Okay. So, here the drug, like the neostigmine, it will inhibit the acetylcholine esterase, so that to avail the more and more acetylcholine for the transmission of for the transmission impulses from the presynaptic membrane to the postsynaptic membrane. As a result, it helps to contraction of the muscles. So, that is about treatment of the myasthenia gravis. Now, neuromuscular blockers. The blockers, it denotes blocking of the transmissions of impulses from the presynaptic membrane to the postsynaptic membrane through the neuromuscular junction, So, it is widely used during the surgery for the anesthesia to relax the skeletal muscles and induce the paralysis, so that surgery can be conducted with less complications. The following the important neuromuscular blockers are the Cure and bungarotoxin. So, what it will do here? These are Cure and bungarotoxins. It will block the acetylcholine receptors, so that impulses the action potential in the form of impulses, it won't transmission takes place from the presynaptic membrane to the postsynaptic membrane through neuromuscular junction. As a result, no production of end plate potential, no production of action potential. As a result, no contraction of the muscles takes place. Okay. And also the succinylcholine and carbamylcholines, it acts as a acetylcholines. It come and bind to the acetylcholine receptors. Okay. And these drugs, it won't be destroyed by the acetylcholine esterase. So, the muscles remains in the depolarized state for the long times. Okay. And botulinum toxins, this also blockers. It is derived from the bacteria Clostridium botulinum. What it will do here? This drug, it will prevent the releasing of acetylcholines from the axon terminals. So, as a result what will happen, there is no opening of ligand gated sodium channel, there is no influx of sodium from extracellular to the muscle fiber, there is no production of end plate potential, there is no production of action potential, there is no contraction takes place. Okay. These are the important neuromuscular blockers. Now, the summary of the today class, the neuromuscular junction. The neuromuscular junction is nothing but one junction between the terminal branch of the motor neurons and muscle fibers. This neuromuscular junction, it allows the transmission of impulses from the motor neuron to the muscle fiber. Okay. And also the Myasthenia Gravis, it is nothing but production of autoantibodies against the acetylcholine receptor in the neuromuscular junction. It leads to Mastthenia Gravis. So that is about today class. Okay. Thank you.